I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
Rolling up, I'm feeling fly, yeah, I'm so damn fresh. Got that platinum grill, blinging in the chest. Diamonds in my mouth, shining when I speak. That umbrella guy, flossing speaking geek. Ice on my teeth, I'm dripping so hard. Platinum grills, I'm the king of the boulevard. Throwing money in the club, making haters mad. I'm the baddest in the game, no one gets a pass. Ooh yeah. Crushing all these lines, yeah, I feel fly. Rolling on the dubs, that umbrella guy. Iced out flow on the boulevard. You ain't a comic gangster, don't be playing hard. Ice on my teeth, I'm flying so high. Dropping the bass, that umbrella guy. One drill to rule them all, one drill to bind them. Baby, I'm so iced out, gonna blind them. Rolling in town, I'm an army of one. Doing verbal walk-bys, blazing like the sun. Riding in my whip, crushing false accusers. Dropping off the bass on the real abusers. Yeah. Living life fast, no time for the slow. Justice on my mind, stacking up on that flow. Life in the fast lane, no time to blink. Ice on my teeth, watch it when I speak. Chillin' on my rhymes, never missing a beat. Ice on my teeth, yeah, I'm living that sweet. That umbrella guy, bringing the platinum heat. Crushing every hater, no time for defeat. Ooh yeah.
Ooh yeah, indeed. Man, welcome to, what's today? Thursday edition. I was
it's
like,
Thursday. Hey.
I couldn't even remember what day it was. I was like, man, you know, my days, these days are tempered on like
together.
Kids karate classes. I was like, is this the end of the karate week? Oh yeah, it's Thursday. Welcome to Thursday. Oh man.
I gotta tell you, I've had a day, but like I've had a day fighting children, no one listening to me, trying to do Camp I Don't Wanna. I call it Camp I Don't Wanna because everybody always goes, I don't wanna when I'm in summer fun mode. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go do this, this, and this. And they're all, I don't wanna. So I told them I'm gonna get t-shirts that say Camp I Don't Wanna. And I'm working on that. But I've had that kind of day. And then you start playing that music, and I swear, I don't know what it is about that song, Tug, but it always makes me feel better. I'm
I like
suddenly
it.
I love it.
I like it. I sing along with it. I like it. There's like 3 songs I like to play. They put me in a decent mood.
I love that one. I also have a tall blueberry ale, and for summertime, I really like blueberry ale. I like the fruit beers, not the wheat beers, but just the fruit beers. And blueberry ale, it's a Rohrbach blueberry ale. It's delicious. So I'm chilling. The day's over. The restriction on screen time has been lifted for the children, so everybody's quiet and happy. And hopefully I won't hear any more. I don't wanna.
I'm listening to my girls. I was telling you this earlier. My girls have been on a, more creative kids insulting spree. You know how they go back and forth and make up names. And earlier I heard one of them yell, "But you're a butt puddle." I was like, butt puddle.
A butt
Gross. A butt puddle.
That's funny.
It was. I was like, actually, that's pretty insulting. It's so that's pretty good. Kid level.
It sounds like butt sweat. Like, ew.
It's gross. I was like, ew. Whichever one of you came up with that, yeah, I declare you the winner for the day. The little one's funny like that. She, Oh man, you know the little ones, they can't physically win anything, so they're loud, you know. And
Yeah.
she's pretty sharp about some crazy stuff sometimes. Lord, she's a mischievous one too. Ooh.
You're lucky right now because they're still in the age group. It's easier to facilitate fun. I have all these great memories of when the kids were little, and all I would have to do is set out some watercolors, and they would just paint for hours, or get out the Play-Doh, and they would, or anything I said we were going to do, they were down for. They were happy to do. And somehow along the way, mom became a drag, and nobody wants to do anything. And it just sucks. I miss that age. Ugh.
Yeah,
My
mine are
son
still
is
in.
good. My 9-year-old is still like down for it. I'm like, hey, we're going golfing today. And he was like, yes. But of course, one of his sisters kind of ruined it for him because she just hated every minute. So
Yeah, my 4-year-old's still in the dad's my bestie stage, which I'm like, heck yeah. You know, we got our own fist bump and everything.
oh,
She's
that's
like,
such a good stage.
yeah. And then my 10, well, she's she's still at the I love dad. She hasn't gotten to the rebellion. I'm like, man, maybe it'll never come, but you know it comes.
You know it's going to come. I hate to tell you, but it does come, and it comes faster than you can even imagine. Time
And
really flies.
the last few days have been wild as far as stories. You know, I mean, we started the MrBeast thing. We started talking about that. MrBeast put out his statement, and it's actually a lot worse for MrBeast than I think people actually realize. I was doing a little research on just looking up the name recognition, and the name MrBeast is, one that's recognized, but Chris Tyson or Ava Chris Tyson, either one, which the media uses, there's never been any real recognition. But now, Google Trends, baby, it's hitting its biggest ever. And you got to remember, this guy, he's tied into Walmart, Amazon. He's tied into many, like, food. Just anything he could. Yeah. So, I don't think Walmart's going to enjoy particularly the candy bar he's marketing to kids. It also, he lost a lawsuit. Well, he has his own MrBeast bars, but
I just bought one of those. I just bought one of those before all this broke, like last week. My kid, now I don't let my kid watch MrBeast. I told him, he asked me a while ago if he could. I said no, because of all the stupidity that was going on with Chris Tyson. And but I did let him buy this silly candy bar in the Walmart the other day, and it's just weird that I just bought that, and now it's like all crumbling apart.
Yeah. He lost a lawsuit. This would be even worse if he wouldn't have lost this. Like, this is a blessing for him, it turned out. So he had a candy bar called D's Nuts. Could you imagine with everything going on now? Yeah, it's real. I'll pull up a picture of it.
That is not the one I bought. That is not.
No, he lost a lawsuit. So there's a brand.
I would never have bought that.
Well, there's a brand called D's, and she makes nuts, and it's before the jokes came out about it, But then MrBeast made a candy bar called D's Nuts. You can see that's these.
Oh no!
Yeah, and he lost a lawsuit, and instead of going in, really the lawsuit was fascinating because it was Walmart's fault. Walmart cued in. Instead of letting the DEE apostrophe S nuts, instead of queuing that in and queuing them in, they queued everything to the big seller. So they got sued for that, and MrBeast's lawyers came in and pretty much mocked and derided this brand instead of going in and being like, we'll get Walmart to fix this. No muss, no fuss. Sorry about the problems. They came in like like 40-pound gorilla or 400-pound gorilla rather, and they lost. So they had to end up pulling these bars, and this popped off 2 months later. So
I can't be the only one, by the way, that thinks that wrapper is gross. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Oh yeah. Let me pull that back up there.
That is not. Like, what is his
Yeah.
deal? He's
Gross.
supposed to be a children's programmer.
No,
And
he
he's got a
started out as
candy bar called D's Nuts, and it has that image on it, which is clearly exactly what you think it looks like is what it looks like.
He's an edgelord that blew up, is what it was. You know, he was
This
a
is
young kid
terrible.
edgelord that blew up. He went from doing things like, you know, reading the entire dictionary live or, you know, something like that to, he actually got $10,000, I think it was. He gave it to, at first he got a sponsor deal, I think it was for $7,000. And he was like, you know, bump it up to 10 grand. And, you know, this was back when giving away money and things, that wasn't something you saw every day. So he ended up giving $10,000 to a homeless guy. That blew up. And it just, the money thing kept getting bigger and bigger. And the sponsorships got bigger and bigger. And that channel just blew the hell up. And I mean,
I don't get it. I've watched some of his videos and I truly don't get the draw. I really don't get it. I think it's a little mean-spirited for me. I wouldn't let my kids watch that kind of stuff. They do dangerous things that I wouldn't want my kids, you know, thinking about trying, especially little ones. I don't get it. I don't get why he's so huge. But
some of the stuff
whatever.
they did, I mean, this has essentially wiped away one of the biggest philanthropy channels too. Like, let's see, give me a second. They had, you know, I built okay, let me pull up their channel real quick. And of course they do the stuff you're talking about, but they also had, you know, people argued about why, you know, this is, it's not about doing good things. Well, who cares? You know, I built 100 houses and gave them away. All right, cool. You know, hey, I went in and let's see. You can see where it autoplays. It forces stuff on. So if I walk away from my computer, you know, because this is a channel I think I watched 2 things from, and I don't even remember subscribe. I may have, but I don't remember it. You know, 1,000 people, 1,000 deaf people here for the first time. You know, things like that. I mean, it's like, you know, hey, you know, they have a giant food bank. I mean, one of the biggest in the United States. So all of that stuff, it's overshadowed by everything that's been going on with Chris Tyson. It's all been, I mean, this has the potential.
And I do not believe for one second that he didn't know that Chris Tyson was a problem. Also, and I don't like Andrew Tate all that much. Don't come after me, chat. I just don't. But I heard him talking about this, and he had a really good point.
Yeah.
He said, why is a guy who's a children's programmer even called MrBeast? It's got this connotation to it that is strange. And he's right. Like the beast. It's almost like hiding in plain sight kind of thing. Like naming what it is that I really am while being something else. And I don't know.
I don't know about that. Like it just sounds like a gamer tag to me. I mean, some of the gamer tags I've used over time, you'd be like, holy God, that's awful.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, it's just strange how this has turned out, right? So we've got this guy who's mostly promoting all this stuff to children. And then he lets this guy on his channel that's geared towards children go through an identity crisis in front of them, which, you know, you can think what you want. A lot of us think that's not great for kids. I don't know. It's just, I liked what Andrew Tate had to say about it. I liked that he said, you know, if that were me and I were going through that identity crisis or whatever, I would have the honor to say, at least, I've made enough money. I'm going to go do this thing, you know, in private, not on this channel, in front of this audience, in front of the audience we've built of kids, and just respect them enough not to do that. And I think it was a real big red flag when Chris Tyson was going through all that and nothing was done about it on the channel. And people were like, dude, you're going to regret this. And sure enough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, and there were there were some giant videos that talked about that. Like Chris Tyson is going to be a problem for the channel. And, MrBeast came out and, was like, oh, you people, you're phobes. And, the media, of course, applauded it. And then a month later, this is like literally a month later, this blows up. It's fascinating too. So this is Rolling Stone's actual title on this. So again, if you haven't kept up
so much. Oh my god, this is so dishonest.
I love it because this is Rolling Stone. This is what Rolling Stone is, and I love that they're transparent.
This is exactly like Fox News or CNN saying popping sounds heard at Trump rally, Trump falls down. This is the exact same thing. This is how bad the media is, because absolutely no one is going after Chris Tyson for the trans thing. They're going after him for talking sexually to 13-year-olds.
It's just, and what's bad is, okay, this was locked behind a paywall too. So, I went and
look at the headline.
Yeah.
The headline is unbelievable.
And they actually played this out. And so they talk about, when they're getting into the whole subject, they get into the apology. They tell you a little bit, there's some allegations. And then, last year, transphobia. And it's like, wait, what? Wait, what are you doing again?
Yeah, he didn't step away, though, because of that. He stepped away because there are legitimate, and did you see the new video? A video now of another kid? Another guy who says when he was a kid? And that was pretty damning. Not only is he saying that he talked to them inappropriately about adult topics, but also got work out of them for free and said that he would pay them but never did.
And was
this
spamming,
is not about identity stuff at all. This is about exploiting children.
When he was spamming, we're going to say corn at them,
Yeah, he said he was spamming corn in the Discord chat with all these minors.
Yeah, we're talking 13-year-old, by the way. Like when we say mine, we're talking young kids, and some of the stuff, some of the recordings there, what's really crazy about it too, the Discord that they were setting up becomes the main Discord for MrBeast. So all of this stuff wasn't happening in some sideline Discord. This was happening in the main Discords, what would become the main one. I think they were hired on, I'd have to go back and listen to the video.
They were hired to moderate his Discord.
Yeah, but it was like
13-year-olds to moderate a Discord that had all this adult stuff, including corn, including
and to
sharing.
set up one, and to set up a new one, like to help convert it over. I can't remember if it was at the 20 million subscriber milestone, or I keep thinking 20 million is that again.
We should play that video of the new guy. Do you have that? Because I did retweet it. People might want to hear this because it's two parts. Yeah. But if
by the way, if you like the channel, this will definitely get demonetized. So.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this one's dead in the water. So if you like it, yes, consider supporting it. These are important topics, though, for real. I mean, we're talking about something. It should have never gotten to this point. And people, again and again, were talking about this issue. And when they did, it wasn't just ignored. People had it thrown back in their face, and media and everything else. They run interference when people were talking about it. They were saying, "Oh, you're just talking about this because." And in fact, the video that brought up all of this stuff at first, it pretty much got throttled. It went nowhere. The only reason this topic blew up was because it blew up on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of I guess creators are not talking about it. There's still some big creators not talking about it because of the identity issues.
Well, and
that's not what this is about.
They're afraid of the platform too. Just to be honest, they're afraid of the blowback because I mean, this is again, we're talking about billions of dollars in platforms that are invested here. So
a lot of people are saying they don't think anything's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen. Nothing will happen. I'm just telling you. This whole subject will just disappear. That absolutely will happen.
That's really awful, actually.
Yeah,
that's awful.
But I mean, you're talking about the #1 YouTuber. Like, I'm just talking about, I'm not saying nothing should. We wouldn't be talking about it if nothing should happen, you know? I mean, this is a disturbing thing. Here's that video. I found it. It took me a minute.
Kat in the chat is referencing Jimmy Savile. That's a very good point. I mean, how many people at the BBC knew about Jimmy Savile? Tons of them. Yeah. And everybody looked the other way. A bunch of people knew about that sicko at Penn State, too. And they all looked the other way because he was in a position of power and authority. And sometimes the phrase "too big to fail" does mean something.
Yeah, it does. It's not just reserved for banks and other things. I
right.
mean, there are brands.
Yeah.
I mean, this brand, again, it's backed by Amazon, biggest YouTuber out there. Netflix is getting their tie-in. So all of these places, if something happens, all of them are culpable. Like, they're you better believe there are some high-level meetings going on right now talking about how to handle this issue. Very much so. This is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I can't subtitle it. I like to subtitle, but I'm just going to let it play. Here we go.
Chris Dyson from MrBeast used me, manipulated me, and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old. I was actually friends with Lava GS at the time, who is the main victim of Chris that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is, and we all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for MrBeast Gaming for 2 years, and he tried to get me to join MrBeast Gaming himself.
So all these people are locked in under NDAs, by the way. If you look at everyone that's been involved, you had some ex-coworkers that have made cryptic statements. Well, many of them, when they're making cryptic statements, are showing you that they're locked in under NDAs. So,
but the NDAs, by the way, do not cover illegal behavior. That will never be covered under an NDA. You cannot make someone sign an NDA to not discuss illegal things. Yeah, so if you've committed a crime, now I could see why people would be worried about it, but if the person committed a crime, you can tell people about that.
Yeah, but you know, they can financially bully you into, it doesn't matter if you're right. You have to get to the level that you can prove you're right. And these people, I mean, again, we're talking about a guy. Last year, somebody offered to buy out his brand. This was reported by him for $1 billion. $1 billion freaking dollars. He turned it
Maybe
down.
you should take the deal.
Yeah,
you should take that deal now. Sell it. Sell the brand.
I mean, that's crazy. But he was reported at making something like $300 million. I mean, just some insane amount of money. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Lava, he's the one who actually sent me the contract and tried to get me to sign the NDA, at which point I ended our friendship because I knew they were just trying to silence me. Me and him were both initially involved in running Chris's Discord server, helping him set up his Twitch streams and moderating them.
Nate's calling me. Hey, what's up? You're on stream.
You just leaked your address. Please end your stream. As well as other technical back-end things that he needed help with. This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. I'm not sure how they got in there, other than me and Lava. He won a giveaway, and Chris invited him after that. And Chris invited me after I saw one of his tweets asking for help setting up a Garry's Mod server for the 10 million subscriber MrBeast video. This turned...
So it's 10 million. Okay, so I said 20 million, my bad. 10 million subscriber. I mean, you're talking about a giant channel here. So this becomes the an official Discord. I mean, they lay it right on top of everything that's going on. They'll scrub it and make sure none of those, none of the edgelord material or any of the horrible stuff they're talking. I don't care about edgelording. What I care about is shit like this. This stuff is horrible. And they hid all of it, and it's been hidden for a while now.
Mm-hmm. And us having lots of private conversations with Chris and playing video games with him for hours on end. Not only did we do a lot of unpaid work for him that he promised he would pay us for, he would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds, especially with him being like, I don't know, 20, 21 years old. He would even go as far as linking me several different corn and hentai videos throughout the time of me talking with him. Not only that, but he had an NSFW bot in his Discord server before he made it public. So when it was just a private server, his little circle of...
If somebody doesn't know what that is, that's a
I don't
not
know
safe
what
for work.
I know what NSFW is, but what does an NSF? What does that do? The bot do? I don't.
It just
get
it spams not safe for work crap. It
What?
spams corn and images.
Why would you want that? Why would anyone want that in a?
Why
in a
indeed?
Discord?
Why
hell?
indeed? Yeah, I mean,
He actually had a corn bot.
yep.
Like, I'm always blocking those things from my YouTube channel. Why would someone want that?
You're like, we must live in Nebraska. There's so much corn in this place. You're like, holy shit, what's going on? Oh my God, these people, man. Ugh. Anyway, I'm gonna let this play through. Ugh, it's so gross.
minors, and he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images, alongside all these 15-year-olds. He would also frequently call me dad and daddy, as well as the others, which I guess we all kind of just took as a joke at the time.
So
you have to
weird.
think this is someone who...
What is dad and daddy?
To young kids, it's so weird. I mean, like, I can't even wrap my head around that, and I don't want to. I don't want to know what that weird psychology
No.
is.
I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm in the field, and I'm like, what is that? I don't know. I feel like it's breaking a piece of my brain. Oh, gross.
who we looked up to at the time, we idolized, we thought was the coolest person in the world, so they couldn't really do any wrong in our eyes. But looking back, I was definitely uncomfortable at being called...
Okay, so there's two of these actually. There's one right out under this too. So give me a second. I had to split this into two videos.
Yeah, the second one's good too.
Yeah. Yeah, it took me a day to realize there was this. I was like, wait a minute.
I know, I was like, he cut off midstream, and then I
Yeah.
went and looked at the comments and I found it. But gosh, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. This is why I'm saying, like, I want my kids to be screen free as much as possible. I do not want them falling down these dark holes and playing video games with strangers who are adults and their children. It's so inappropriate to be playing video games for hours with minors who are not your own, who are not your family members. It's not appropriate.
These. It's tragic all the way around. Because, I mean, you had the first person, Lava, talked about 13 at the time. Lava ends up, interacting for 3 years. Then when he's old enough to drive, ends up driving out there with a recreational vehicle, going out to the woods. That's, everything in that screams red flag. Leading
Totally.
to it, everything giant, like, oh my God. And I'm not talking about the behavior with that. I'm talking about the person. You're like, this behavior, because they're seeking out minors to talk to in these. Anyway,
Yeah, that's gross.
I was definitely uncomfortable at being called daddy by a 20-year-old, and even just thinking about it now, it's just uncomfortable. This server later went public and became his official Discord server, but before it did, he had me and Lava spend multiple days scrubbing this Discord server clean of all of the N-words he had sent in it, as well as his friends, as well as deleting the NSFW channels and making sure no one could see that he was spamming corn to minors. This story is so much bigger and runs so much deeper than any of you really realize, so if you want to hear more and you want a part 2, let me know.
That makes me wonder, like, what else is out there? Because this is, there have been multiple people to say things like this. Hey, you have no idea how bad this stuff really is.
I know it's going to get bigger, but I'm starting to get concerned, like everyone in the comments, that nothing will be done about it.
Nothing's going to happen. We know, like you said, too big to fail. They are. They very well are.
And
Too
I
much
guess I should
protection.
clarify, too, what I was saying, because there's some people in the chat were like, well, you never know how old somebody is online, and the nature of these online games, you don't know the age of the person you're playing with. That's true.
Yeah.
And so in those situations when you don't know, that's one thing. But we're talking about a guy who totally knew the
Yeah,
ages.
he
He was
sought out.
DMing these guys. kids. He knew how old they were. In the case of this one, he showed text messages. I don't know if it was in that it wasn't in this video, but another one that I saw, text messages that were so inappropriate of Chris saying to him, what do you want for your birthday? I can get you anything you want. Like that kind of stuff, like ew. And he knew how old he was.
Yeah.
Once you know how old, first of all, you shouldn't be DMing minors, period. And it's one thing to be playing with anonymous people. I don't
or chatting with like you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like a person like me, if you know, again, if I never said anything about it, I just, you know, if I didn't run a YouTube, I just have a name out there, so you wouldn't know anything about that.
You wouldn't
know.
I
mean that can happen. But if I told you,
once you know, you shouldn't be playing with other people's kids online. You know,
you definitely shouldn't be like using a freaking corn bot, you know?
No.
I mean, that's...
And also, he was playing for hours online with them alone, chatting, talking. Like, it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate.
So you want to see a real problem here. Okay, so first, we'll just go with Chris Tyson. This is interest over time. Now, I put it on the past 7 days just to show how much it's blipping up. And you can see, you know, with Google Trends, like if we go over, let's do the last year. All the interest, Chris Tyson, you'll see little blips in here. You know, you'll see a key factor of maybe 1, but all the attention, it's still gathering the data. But there's Chris Tyson. All the attention, and it's all linked with MrBeast. And like I said, if you look at the last 7 days, that attention's all over still. You know, you can see where this absolutely, you have it starting to take off. People are like, holy crap. And then it blows up. And the more that comes out, it's going to keep blowing up like that. And you can't tell. So with MrBeast, like people are looking at Social Blade and they're saying, I don't see any damage there. Okay, well, when you get to a certain level, you can't see them lose subscribers. Unless he loses 1 million subscribers, you won't see it. You won't be able to track it off of Social Blade. So he could be bleeding subscribers. Losing 1 million subscribers, you know, this is here and there on YouTube. But at the same time, you know, this isn't a topic that's, I feel like it hasn't been allowed to take off. Here's the other... Give me 1 minute.
My God, the gamers are taking what I said totally out of context, by the way. If you're online playing and you don't know who's playing with you, it's no problem.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. I didn't say it was. This is a guy who knew that these kids were underage, and he was specifically sending them corn
he wasn't playing games
guys.
With them either. Like, really. He wasn't playing, you know.
Come on.
He wasn't just going on and playing, like, freaking, you know, Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah,
fuck,
like
know.
We're not talking about like anonymous people playing. We're talking about he knew there were these kids were 13 and 14. He was specifically seeking them out to play hours and hours of online games with them and DMing them this inappropriate shit. So if you're not doing that, then you're fine. Then it's fine. Now I don't let my minors play online with strangers because I find it weird.
I used to play. I don't play a lot of online games these days, but you know, I used to play like Left 4 Dead. You know, and you know, you get randomized teams. You know, that will pop up, and I mean, who knows on your randomized team? You know, you might have some like freaking 13 or 15-year-old talking shit to you. You know, after they kick your ass in a game, and that's okay because again, you know, you're just talking about. Randomized, they're going to be gone. You're not making contact with them. I mean, that's just gaming. This guy,
yeah, that's just gaming. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
No.
And I don't let my kids do it because I'm afraid of the predators that seek out kids for that. And I'm not afraid of people like you out there playing just because you're in, or my husband out there playing in a random, you know, group room or whatever. But no, you guys are taking it out of context. I'm sorry, Smoke Jaguar, you're taking it out of context. It's different when what he's doing versus just regular gameplay.
Also, you know, when you talk about this, people are like, you know, I've seen this complaint all over Twitter. You know, you're misgendering. And I'm like, you know, part of that is respect. I don't respect pedos, not in any way. So If what you catch is an S, it's SHE versus HE, if that S is the thing you're noticing and not the glaring PEDO, like, I don't know what to tell you. I just, that fucking blows my mind that people fixate, on the big, that is the true 4-letter word. That 4-letter word is, oh God, what that carries with it. Whew, that's horrible. And if you're focusing on, again, one letter that's missing off a pronoun, come on. So this is the Ava Chris Tyson, by the way, and yeah, it mattered a little bit when you had, the controversy that the media liked to bring up. Let's see. So in the past, we'll go with a year again. When you had that, you can see it barely blips compared to this stuff. You had a little blip right here a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Rolling Stone was locking onto and saying, these phobic comments and stuff. That's nothing compared to what's going on right now. That's a real problem.
If one of these kids comes out, or people, they're not kids anymore, I guess, but if somebody comes out and there was contact, like, meetups, other meetups, that could lead to criminal charges, depending.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, the other day, Chris Tyson made a comment. I'm gonna bring up that comment, and then I'll bring up the MrBeast comment. So Chris Tyson scrubs their Twitter, like just scrubs everything off of it right away. Because there was some stuff. Interestingly, when all this other stuff blew up, people picked up and started archiving some pretty messed up stuff out there, talking about like attractive 4-year-olds. And, at the time people were like, oh, that's just edgelording. Well, doesn't look like that was edgelording now, does it? Looks like something. Yeah. And nobody would have known that stuff was there had it not been for the media and the way they covered things, because people started looking into this account. But this was what was left behind. This is it. Okay, so I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. You notice the if in there. If. That was not my intention. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. That statement
His
right
family?
there.
The family that he left?
And
the wife
mental
and
health,
kid that he left?
And the mental health statement is, the context this person's using that in. They're the victim in this. That's what they're saying. I got to focus because all of this is so stressful to me. Like, that's what they're saying.
Mm. Yeah, this is garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm being victimized on the internet.
If I've offended anyone, that's the other thing I don't like about this. I apologize if I've offended anyone. Really? You clearly have offended a bunch of people.
I said,
you apologized for our feeling offended at it, not for the thing you did. Do you notice? No responsibility for this thing that I did that offended you. It's, I'm sorry, you are offended. That is not a true apology. That is a bullshit apology, and I don't let my kids get away with it, and you shouldn't let this guy get away with it either, because that's not a real apology.
Well, it's also, it's almost pretending that people are looking at this and they're seeing statements before, and it's treating it like edgelord behavior. Like I said, I've been on the internet long enough that I can differentiate between someone wanting to be an edgelord. I remember what the internet was like. Then we went through, the corporatization of the internet, and it like everything, you have a pendulum swing, and it went into cancel for everything. And now we're swinging a little bit back, and people are recognizing, hey, in the past there was edgelord behavior, but this isn't it. I'm going to make that very clear.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that this is. No.
Like inappropriate text with kids is never edgelord. That's always criminal.
Meeting up with a
It's always criminal. And by
meeting
the
up
way,
in an RV
even,
with a freaking
that
kid.
that kid who said the RV kid who said his family was there, that doesn't mean it's not brooming. You know the word that I can't use on YouTube? That doesn't mean it's not.
You mean the one that's glaringly in the next statement that it's in front of me?
Yes. I don't know if we can read that or not, but the it rhymes with brooming word. Let's just say this. One of the sickest documentaries I ever saw was called An Open Secret. It's very worthwhile watching about the PDF files in Hollywood and the brooming behavior. And one of the worst ones involved the parents in the scam. The parents were always involved because the predator would get the parents to feel very comfortable with him. And he would make the parents believe he was the most trustworthy person that they could leave their kid with. And so this process with the parents would go on for a year with this guy. This he was like a super predator, this one. And the process would go on and on and on until they trusted him implicitly. He was a member of the family. And so they never questioned that they should, of course, send their child off to California with this guy. Of course they should. And then the most terrible, horrific, traumatic things happened to their children. And even when they found out, they couldn't even believe it. Because not this guy, not him, he's the one we trusted most in the world. So you have to understand that the process, the brooming process, involves the parents. So when I hear, my parents were with us, that doesn't absolve him from what was going on.
Actually, one of the worst, so pre-YouTube, there was this thing called DEN, or the Digital Entertainment Network. You should look it up. Look it up under...
Yes, that was about this, that was in this documentary I was just talking about.
So the people that owned it, there was Collins Rector, Chad Shackley, Brock Pierce, and Bryan Singer, the director.
Bryan Singer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they were doing YouTube before YouTube. That was in the tech bubble. You know, you're talking about millions. So they picked up a mansion. They filmed, they had a pilot show. They called it the gay version of Silver Spoon. So they picked up an underage kid, and the stuff they did with everybody that I just named, but Bryan Singer, ended up in prison. And Bryan Singer,
he fled the country.
Yeah, well, Bryan Singer also, even he should have been in jail like before that.
But he fled the country. I believe he's still living overseas because of it. Because there are charges, from what I understand.
I don't think there were. I think Collins Rector. Yeah, I think Collins Rector
fled.
I think Collins Rector and Chad Shackley fled, and they found them sometime later. They found them with like, the material you would expect those kind of weirdos to have. Plus, they had firearms and everything else. It looks like they were not expecting to be taken alive. But they made this kid, in order to keep him quiet, they made him a partner in DEN. And they would have what the media referred to as twink parties. They would have underage kids, like underage boys, like swimming pool. There are pictures of this stuff, and it's fucking, ugh. And it happened right out in the open. You know, one of the, if people, like, if you've never heard of that, you should, like I say, you should look up Digital Entertainment Network, DEN. It's a horrifying subject. But yeah, it deals with mass brooming, I guess I'm going to say.
So in 2019, Bryan Singer there are charges.
So there were, okay.
For CA.
So it was in 2019, though. Okay, so all this stuff happened.
He never faced that. He never faced them because he doesn't live here anymore. He lives in, I think, London. And he hasn't come back, as far as I know. So he's never faced these.
So it took 19 years. While the others, they ended up with charges pretty quickly, and they fled, and they were hunted down. They ended up getting hunted down. So it's just, it's so bizarre. Like, Bryan Singer must have some big names protecting him.
Oh, absolutely. I think his attorney's been doing some, I don't know, some fast footwork to keep him out of it. And I don't know what's happened to the charges since 2019, but there were some. I just don't know what happened to them. And it's really, if you guys watch you got to watch An Open Secret. It's a documentary that's free on YouTube, and it is shocking. Shocking.
And this is, it's, I don't want to say commonplace, but it's not uncommon with Hollywood or entertainment. The biggest fantasy convention, that's ever, I can't think of its freaking name, but the biggest, it was founded by 3 people. One of them, the year after they founded it, was put on trial because he was found with 2 young boys, and they dragged it out so long because he had this ownership. Nobody really realized, like, this money was going, 1/3 of profit was going to this guy that, he's fighting these charges. He fought them so long that they allowed him to start traveling different, to different states, and he got caught again. Well, when he got caught again, there was finally enough pressure put on the convention that this guy was bought out. But so much time had elapsed during that he was put under home arrest because they were like, oh, he's too unhealthy to go to prison. And I was like, the hell you say? Yeah, that dude needs to be in prison for sure.
All right, I think I figured it out. So this kid accused him of stuff, and of bad stuff. And then there was the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. They did this investigation that dragged on for a long time. And then they declined to press the charges. But there's still a lawsuit that was
a lawsuit.
Filed and allegedly settled out of court. And I don't know for what. But I don't know. It seems kind of shady to me because, man, the stories from these kids are... it's bad.
Oh, dude, everybody else in freaking DEM went to prison. Everyone but Bryan Singer. And Bryan Singer was right there with all of them. I mean, again, we're not talking about something that they didn't record. They recorded the parties and all of this stuff. The stuff that put other ones in prison. Bryan Singer was there, too. There were other people. There's another guy that was tied to Nickelodeon. He was a stunt director for X-Men. I mean,
yeah, he went. Didn't that guy go to jail for a long time? And when he got out, Disney hired him again.
Yeah. Well, the director, the movie Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Okay, that guy went to prison. He directed, I can't remember the movie. Powder, maybe? Don't quote me on that, but he was caught. He filmed himself with a underage person. He went to jail, got back out, and he got the funding to make Jeepers Creepers 3.
Gross.
There are lines, knowing that, if you didn't know that and you ever watched that movie, there's actually a line in there that's talking, it's like an underage girl talking about an adult. And there's a line of, again, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, you love who you love. And knowing who wrote that, it's like, oh, God, they allowed this to happen.
Well, and then there was a new documentary. I don't know if it was on HBO, the one about the Nickelodeon kids. And what's his name? There was not the... You know the one I'm talking about, the Nickelodeon director. So, strangely enough, in that documentary, it wasn't the director that was really the focus of all the allegations. He was Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider was only accused of basically being a bad boss and writing some inappropriate jokes for the kids to tell, which were gross. I will give him that, but I didn't get the feeling throughout all of it. There wasn't any of the kids who were like, he was inappropriate with me. He was just mean, like he was hard to work for. But there was a guy on that show who was a horrific abuser. I don't remember his name now. And he ended up being defended by all of these Hollywood people came out at the trial and spoke on his behalf.
That's what we saw with
sick.
The comic industry. So out of the comic industry, the guy that Americanized Dragon Ball Z, not the creators, but the guy who ported it over, was introducing it. He was attached to the comic industry. He accidentally uploaded one of the most horrific things I'm not even going to repeat what was on it, but he accidentally uploaded a video from his private videos to YouTube, and he got his home raided, and they found all this horrific shit. Well, all the big comic pros came out, and they were like, oh, this guy's actually a great guy. And it was like, are you kidding me? Did you read some of the stuff they found in his home? Children under 1 was a descriptor.
Oh, God.
I was like,
dang,
oh, yeah, I was like,
oh.
yeah. Anyway, yes, I didn't mean to take people in a horrific. I want people to understand this is par for the course in Hollywood. Again, it's not. I don't want to use the word common because that says you just walk down the street and it happens, but it's not uncommon. But anyway, and the reason again is because of that statement, the way it comes out. But they continue. I want to add, I never again broomed anyone. The person who gets brought up in these accusations is Lava GS. Lava GS came out and said, I wasn't. Again, named certain behaviors. You would say, yeah, that's exactly what that means. But they were like, they don't recognize
because
them as
kids
such.
can't consent.
Yeah. They also, who knows? Again, NDA, maybe payoffs. You don't really know what's happened behind the scenes. Yeah. But they've been vocally supported that they are false. Having said that, I humbly apologize to anyone I've hurt with my unacceptable social media posts, PACs, actions, and to those who may feel betrayed by how I used to act online. Used to act again. To lump these two factors together to create a narrative that my behavior extended beyond bad, edgy jokes is disgusting and did not happen. Again, going back to the victim narrative, which you see popping up with mental health. Like that, you can tie it all in there. In the past, I've learned that my old humor is not acceptable. I cannot change who I was, but I can continue to work on myself. I don't want these accusations to impact the hundreds of people who work at MrBeast, which is why I stepped away. Yeah, so MrBeast made a comment on this. Okay, give me a second here.
And interestingly, Chris he said that he stepped away. They agreed he would step away. MrBeast's statement is a little different.
Yeah, it's... but MrBeast... Well, okay, so MrBeast has been quiet for days. Now, MrBeast does not post every single day. Okay, but MrBeast... there was a sizable gap where you could see all of this stuff happening. And MrBeast, of course, I'm sure at the advising of his lawyers, they're trying to figure out how to crisis control this issue. They're trying to see where it goes, what gets dug up, who exactly is saying it, if they can keep it quiet, I'm sure, or if they can sue someone to oblivion, pay them all. Again, how companies handle this. We've seen enough from big companies like Warner, which we're going to talk about on a big arrest too in just a little bit. Oh, shit.
Look at the views, Tug. Look at 54 million views.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe the kind of audience this guy has. I really can't understand it. The videos are so boring to me. So the Chris Tyson one, because of everything on it, had 50 million views too. Oh my God.
That tells you how big this is. An Elon Musk post gets somewhere, if it's huge, it has to be monstrous. It would pull up maybe half this. That's the guy that all traffic directs to on Twitter. He owns it, so he directs traffic to him, and still with that, his typical posts, they pull in a few million, 4 to 8 million.
Wow.
But this, 54 million, and counting.
That is so big. I guess I'm totally out of touch. I don't understand.
That doesn't count
the culture that I'm living in.
That doesn't count embedded stuff that's coming up in the media, because they don't unless you click into it, it doesn't count it. So if you went through an article and you saw this, if you go in and count, we're talking about hundreds of millions of hits. This has hit normie culture. It's gone well beyond internet culture. This is going out into the news, and not the lame stream that we see and we make fun of. We're talking about the nightly, hey, by the way, big YouTuber, MrBeast, on your 6 o'clock news. Yeah, I had a family member ask me about, do you know who this is? I was like, yeah.
It's hard to believe that so many people don't know who he is when he's the biggest YouTube star ever. Like, how many subscribers does he have?
Yeah, but some people just don't. 306 million.
300 million. 300 million. That is the entire population of the United States, almost. Almost the entire population of the United States. That is insane.
These videos get insane. Okay, so the latest... I'm going to go over 5 videos. I'm looking at them right now since I pulled that up. You've got 191 million views in 12 days, 105 million views, 178 million, 169 million, 116 million, 114 million. You know, and some of them break 200 million. The biggest one on the channel, the most popular, 637 million views. That is a monstrously successful Netflix show, an entire show, something, they had some of the biggest top 10 shows they've had. They don't pull those numbers. So, that's at another level. But he puts out a statement. He says, and this does, like you said, it reflects a totally different, hey, I'm stepping away. So over the last few days, I've become aware of serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I'm disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I've been focused on hiring an independent third party. Now that right there is always a red flag to me, because that's
we've investigated ourselves and we found that we did nothing wrong.
Yep. That's happened with...
That's what the Secret Service is doing right now.
That's what, I remember Dan Wooten, for example, when his stuff was being investigated, that's what The Sun, they came out and they were like, oh, third party. And that's exactly, they were like, oh yeah, we don't have any wrongdoing. Yeah, and even if we did, this third party, we hired them, therefore they're not going to make a report public. That's the thing, you keep it internal. He's not going to release a report that says anything whatsoever about what they find. They get to keep it hidden behind locked doors. But they're hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. So right there, that's a totally different narrative.
I took action. I removed him from the company.
Yeah. I wondered if he owned, like he was a stockholder as well, because you're talking, or not stockholder, but owned like a percentage of the company. I shouldn't say stockholder, but a percentage owner. Because this is a person that's been there from go. So to remove them, they may have gotten. What disturbs me about that when I say that is, that would mean that they got one hell of a payoff for doing horrible things.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they made millions. They were rewarded for that behavior. So I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings. Any further actions? What does that mean?
I don't know what actions he could take with an independent... Well, maybe turning things over to the police. Maybe.
He could sue for damage to his brand.
Yeah, he could sue. Sure.
He's got... What he'll have to do, because there's enough people saying, like he knew that he's going to have to show something. Again, they'll try to... What this says is we're going to wait for the window for things to blow over. That's what happens with this. We're going to give them the necessary time. Again, this is legalese. This was supposed to show action, but it's also supposed to mitigate damage to the brand, and it's supposed to give you enough time to get past the data, the Google Trends that I was showing you. Mm-hmm. Somebody in legal, they definitely drafted this thing on for sure. And, I mean, this guy has a giant legal team behind him, too. He's got some big name lawyers behind him. You can look up again, we're talking about the candy bar lawsuit, and you can see some of that. And they lost. I mean, but they're big names still. They were just went in there with so much overconfidence that.
Yeah.
If you look at the articles on this too, I'm not going to pull them up. I would suggest people, if you're curious about this story, there's a lot more. You have workers there, like Jake the Viking, for example, and he came out point blank and said Jimmy or MrBeast knew. You've had other people that worked there and was like this, it was essentially my wording. It was an open secret. Everybody knew that Chris Tyson was a problem here, but Chris Tyson knew so much about things that had happened behind the scenes that they were afraid that Chris Tyson would go out and say everything.
So that new video we just watched 2 parts of, there's a new one with proof, his text messages. I dropped it in the private chat. We haven't seen this yet.
Okay, let's check that out.
He just put this out today at 7:59.
Oh, wow.
So literally this just went. And then he put images up in the second tweet of text between them.
Oh, God, man. This is crazy.
Oh, boy.
Like, this is it. There's nothing that's going to overshadow this story. A lot of times when there's controversy or even we're talking horrible stuff, there's something that can overshadow it. But this guy is so big that even if you go in, you have election stuff, whatever, what's going to overshadow this? So I'm going to play it. We haven't heard this at all.
We haven't heard this yet. We don't know what it says.
This is part 2 to yesterday's video of me talking about Ava Chris Tyson and what they did to me when I was 15 years old. This video has all the proof in it, all the receipts, and all the screenshots, thanks to an old friend of mine who was a moderator in Chris's Discord server at the time, Cookie. Now, Cookie actually went ahead and downloaded logs of all the individual channels on Chris's server before it went public, knowing that this was kind of being covered up, and he kept the logs of it for himself. He actually reached out to me here on Twitter, and I'm going to provide a lot of the screenshots backing up the claims that I made that Lava refuted. For example, I made a claim that there was an NSFW channel in the server where Chris would spam corn. Here you can see Chris talking about locking down the NSFW channel to True Gods and Anointed only. By the way, this is in 2019. I was a True God and I was a minor. Not only that, but you can see me right below it, Nathan.rtx, saying this is a bad idea. So even I knew as a kid that this was a really bad idea. Here is Lava himself talking about starting the commencement of cleaning the server, word for word. I said he was talking about scrubbing the server. He says that never happened. Here you can see him talking about it, as well as me and Cookie himself talking about it. I just want to make this video real quick, disproving some of the claims that Lava refuted and showing that they actually are true, but I actually have thousands of Discord messages to go through in these logs that I was just provided by Cookie. Shout out to him for giving me them.
Damn.
And I'm going to be going through them and posting an update video with some more proof.
Damn, this is going to get big. Let's see.
I knew there was going to be a lot more. I knew it. And now that, oh wow. So this Cookie guy downloaded everything before the scrubbing began, knowing it was going to be a big deal. So somebody in the chat asked, why would he wait till now? Well, if you're talking about minors, right, who know that something shady is going on, and one of them was smart enough to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to save this. Maybe I'll need it someday. It's not like they could, you never want to be the first one, right? To come forward with this kind of stuff.
Lava didn't come forward, by the way.
Right.
Lava, there was a video that came out. Maybe they got some of this information from like one of the parties, like Cookie or somebody else. But that 13-year-old, they came in and said, no, this stuff didn't happen. This person, after the video was made, came out with their own video talking about, yeah, this happened to me. And Lava had already made comments saying, you know, Chris Tyson didn't do any of this, and then went in and made more commentary saying that this person, the stuff that they were saying is not true. So let's look at a few of those, shall we?
Oh, God.
It's more proof to show. So again, they're proving that the logs, actually they do have the logs for that. That's too small to see, but the other ones, you know, they're talking about scrubbing, you know. It's all know the bot won't delete his messages.
I like how Nathan RTX says, bruh, this is a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It says, gonna put the link. Chris says, gonna put the link to the Discord on my story. Make sure NSFW is locked down to only gods and anointed. And he's telling you he was gods and he was a minor. And then he says, this is a bad idea. Chris says, how? Again, what are you just... It's hilarious that minors know it's a bad idea, but he doesn't.
Well, and you know, it's fascinating because when you look at this, you know, by itself, this again would have been written off as edgelord, like delete any bad word you see. But when you find out what kind of stuff was being posted in there, some of the, yeah, they may not just have been like N-bombs and other things. We're talking about, you know, we're talking about very explicit things that were being talked about. And they're discussing scrubbing it all. Everything needs gone.
And they're discussing that it will improve chances of partnerships.
Yeah, because they say it right here, you know. Unless
a lot was said while it was a private server.
This server is going to be spotless and ready for partnership.
Wow.
Yeah, and Lava's saying that, by the way. So, Lava said they didn't scrub that server. That never happened. And it's like, not only did that happen, but Lava themselves said, hey, we're going to scrub it. We're going to make this thing spick and span so partners will feel like they can come in and do something there. Mm-hmm. By the way, I went and deleted every single time the N-word, so there's that in there. Proves chances of partnership. A lot was said while it's a private server. We should do that with all banned words. I didn't delete any of the images with it, since I just searched for it and did some looking in really old messages. And there was an attachment there we can't see. It's like, yikes, that picture, whatever that was. They were like, oh, yikes, yeah, that needs to be gone. Oh, there's going to be so much.
Rebel Bird just dropped you a hondo.
Yeah, actually, there are a few people. Let me shout out. Let me give a few shout outs here, because appreciate Angel, by the way. Look at this. 10 gifted memberships. 10 gifted memberships.
10 more. Wow. Thank you, Angel.
5 gifted memberships.
So generous.
Let's see. A 50 there. Stream funds. Tough topics need to be talked about, unfortunately. Respect to Tug and Megan. Indeed, you know, I hate that platforms scrub this stuff. I mean, it's... There is complicit in this. I'm just going to be frank. I don't give a fuck what the platforms think about this. They are complicit in this stuff because they want to hide it.
And hiding it is not the right thing to do. Like, censoring us from even being able to talk about these things, it's not okay. Like, we have to be able to talk about it. Kids are in danger from this kind of stuff, and parents need to know what to watch out for. This is not the first time.
No, when the quote unquote map discussion came up, you know, the minor attracted persons, because they didn't want you using the word ped anymore. So when that came up, I had a video get hit for talking about that because they said I was going after protected
a protected class. Oh
yeah,
my
protected
God.
class. And I was like,
stop it.
I had that because I made a video about it, you know, with the hit, and I was like, wait a minute, are you telling me that
maps
pedos
are protected?
Yeah, I mean, what? So this story's big enough that I think over time they will they'll shadow ban certain terms. Actually, I should look at that right now. I wonder if they've already done that. Let me see if they're. You can check if you're ever curious about.
You should check
No.
MrBeast. See if
I don't think
shadow...
MrBeast will be. No, MrBeast won't. No way. But I wonder, Chris Tyson. Let's see. Chris T-Y. No, not yet. Okay. If you want to know if something's been shadow banned, what you do is you put a hashtag in front of it when you search it. So.
And
Ava,
if it doesn't auto-populate.
Yeah. So Ava Chris Tyson. So Chris Tyson is not. But Ava Chris Tyson doesn't auto-populate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's see if Ava...
MrBeast still comes up.
Ava Tyson doesn't either. Yeah, see, here, let me show people what I'm talking about. I'll lock it in on here.
Oh, you're
this
right.
Is
Ava Tyson doesn't come up.
Yeah. And by the way,
good thing no one
you.
calls Chris Ava. Everyone that I can see is calling him Chris Tyson.
Yeah, you know, and there are tags though that associated. I'll hit all super chats, by the way, too. I wanted to thank you, Rebel Bird, there for sure. 1 second, this is what I mean. Like if you go in, if you search just MrBeast, it'll pop up something, right? But if you start under hashtags and start looking for them, you can see the auto-populate come in, right? Even under Chris Tyson. Wait a minute. There it is. Okay, Chris Tyson. Ava. Chris.
Yeah.
Oh,
nope.
Nothing. No. So there's nothing that comes up
either.
At all.
Ava Tyson doesn't come up either. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, they're starting to shadow ban. What'll happen is anything that's tagged with it, you won't necessarily take channel hits with it. You may, you may get a shadow ban off of it, but they'll make it where only trusted sources. So only the media, the same media like the Rolling Stone that said this was all phobia. Yeah, they're the only ones that actually will get a voice in it. Yeah. So after a while, there are some YouTubers that are too big to do that too. Like Emily D. Baker's a good example. Emily D. Baker, no matter what she covers in trials, people know that she's covering, and she pulls a great on it. By the way, props to her. I mean this, I'm glad she has this kind of success because some of this stuff needs to go out there for sure. And when she covers it, she has enough sway that doesn't hit her. But for other channels, yeah, there's a portion of the algorithm. If they go in and they do this, it switches it over to trusted sources, and that is pretty much the death of people being able to cover it here. Twitter won't have that, but the majority of the world, they're not tuned into Twitter. And this gets even bigger because MrBeast is considered a kid-friendly channel.
Yeah, that's the thing that really bothers me here too, is that this programming was absolutely aimed at children, and I think bad decisions were made.
Well, they just said that, okay, MrBeast said that, I've gone in and removed this person, blah, blah, blah. Well, all their videos have that person in them. Mm-hmm. They're part of the team. So, if nobody's able to follow up on that story.
And if you criticize his midlife crisis or whatever the hell of leaving his family, you're a phobe of some kind. And he called people who criticized it and said this shouldn't be going on this children-friendly show, called everybody phobes. How's that working out for you, MrBeast?
Well, there was like I said, I can't remember that channel that did a video that was like Chris Tyson is going to be a problem for MrBeast. And
and that's when he said the thing about he's not going to be a nightmare. He's my best friend.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're all just
nightmare.
You're a bunch of phobes. Like
that was amazing.
No, it's just that a bunch of people see this behavior from him and go, "There's something wrong here. These are red flags."
Well, they were pointing out the other statements too. They were pointing out the statement about a 4-year-old and other things. They were like, "Look, this behavior is attached to your channel, buddy."
And the
it's not
fetish
just
cartoons, the fetish cartoons, like that he was all into. The obvious corn addiction that we're talking about here. Like there's an obvious something going on with this guy that is beyond what, he was presenting. Let's just say
Well,
it that way.
all of that controversy, like I said, that's the reason why you have all those screenshots, because the account's been scrubbed. Went out of their way to scrub that account, and they were too slow. The internet remembers. Well, the internet wouldn't have remembered if it weren't for MrBeast, honestly, because MrBeast and going in and criticizing the internet was like, no, people aren't just talking about identity in this. They're also talking about this plus this equals what's going on with your channel, buddy. What's happening here. And it worked. Actually, it would have worked if there wasn't so much noise on Twitter. That probably would have worked for the media too. I bet you most of these sources that we see, we would have a few that would cover it, but it wouldn't be like it is now. It blew up so big that they couldn't ignore it because of Twitter. Old Twitter, we would have never had that. It's, oh my God.
I sent you something in the private chat. You don't necessarily have to share, but I just wanted you to read it, especially number 2. Because holy God.
The content violation one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so
I don't know if you want to say that or not. It's really disturbing.
yeah, I'm just gonna say it, okay?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Chris posted a TikTok of his son bathing, I'm gonna say, non-clothed, and taking a poop. And he got taken out, and he tweeted about this. So he posted a TikTok of his child like that.
That's insane. That's
and he got, when they say it got
so
taken
disturbing. And it got the content violation warning on it said violent and graphic content against.
I can't pull up the picture because it has the reason I'm not pulling that up.
We're not pulling that up.
Well, it's got a content violation, but it's got a picture on the side.
It has a thumbnail on the side.
Yeah, and I can't pull that up. I'll get my channel banned for it. But it was a content violation. A video you posted on 2/11/2021 was removed for violating our violent and graphic content policy.
And he's laughing about it on Twitter. That's really funny, I guess. That is... I don't even have words for that. That is so beyond a boundary that should not be crossed. That just popped up, by the way. I was just doing a search for the latest on Chris Tyson on Twitter, and that came up. Also, that same tweet is showing a picture of MrBeast sitting next to Chris Tyson's artwork. So they're saying there's no way he didn't know about this stuff because he's sitting right next to, and it looks like looking at, the art on the wall that is by that one guy who does all the CP drawings.
Yeah, there's, if you're curious about all of that stuff, like I say, it's at IBZ Dragon. I actually have that posted. So, yeah, if you're wanting to actually see what, but like I said, I can't pull up the freaking warning there though because it has that thumbnail involved, and gross, man. This I think this rabbit hole is going to get much deeper. I think when those chat logs come up, you're going to see. I don't know how catalog. They kept a log of it, so pictures will probably come up broken. So that's kind of thankful. I get the, we know what the not safe for work thing is spamming there. It's spamming to kids, but we'll see any commentary. And there was a discussion that came up that had some pretty explicit things that were put in it too. There was a clip of a conversation. So I'm sure that in the chat logs, you're going to see some pretty horrible shit that pops up.
Oh yeah. With those having been downloaded before the scrubbing, it's going to be bad. But ew, just gross.
Okay, so this kills me too. Like I was talking about Rolling Stone. Okay, with Rolling Stone, stories like this do not belong behind a paywall. Rolling Stone puts them behind paywalls. So this is a not a public interest. This is a public safety story. Yeah,
You're right. It is a public safety story. Not that is such a good distinction, Tug. The difference between a public interest and public safety is huge. Like you would put something behind a paywall that was, for instance, there was a great Rolling Stone article that was an in-depth interview with Johnny Depp on his property in France. And it was like a magazine-length article. They had a guy embedded with him. I could see putting that behind a paywall. Okay.
I could even see
of work
like
went into that.
I've covered like a random case, and I put it up as a thank you. I don't put them up as paywalls, but I put them up as like a thank you thing for for like a Patreon or someplace. Or locals now, but those are already in court. It's not investigative. And I'm not saying that Rolling Stone actually does any investigative journalism these days anyway, but this should go out to their readership because again, it is a public safety, especially when it deals with public safety with kids. And if somebody sees it and they were somebody that was impacted by this as a minor, I mean, this may be the only source they see for some reason. I don't know why exactly they would like a Rolling Stone, but say they do. Say that's the only place they look up. They would not know, who's impacted. They wouldn't. They might recognize a name from the past, like one of these anything. Again, that's a public
that's
safety
one way
story.
to bury the story.
Yeah, the Rolling Stone, they're really good at burying stories, though. It's fascinating when they want to do a hatchet job on like yours truly, though. They put it out for the world to see. Fuck you, Rolling Stone. I swear. When they wanted to get us all banned, see, it's fascinating. They want to get us all banned because we're talking about like a female that they built up in like an Amber Heard. They want to get me banned for talking about that. But with Chris Tyson, they want to fucking protect Chris Tyson. Yeah, your priorities are really straight, Rolling Stone. You pieces of shit. Hate them, man.
Rolling
Fucking
Stone,
hate
by the
Rolling
way,
Stone.
I should also point out that Rolling Stone turned down Dave Neal and all his evidence about Clayton Echard and Laura Owens. They looked into it and decided they weren't going to cover it. Which is unbelievable because that story it's got everything. Celebrity, sex, intrigue, betrayal, lies, perjury. I mean, it has everything.
Well, and
Rolling Stone wasn't interested, and that should tell you something.
Well, actually, it gets worse with Rolling Stone. So Rolling Stone, a lot of people think of them as independent media, but they're not. They're actually owned by Penske Media. Penske Media owns all these other brands, too, like Variety, Billboard, The Hollywood Reporter, the Golden Globes. So when you talk about them wanting to shield a story, there's about 5 companies that control the news. That is not, when I say that, that's not a conspiracy. This is one of the companies that they own Rolling Stone. So when you're like, hey man, all these places have the same behavior, they write the same types of bullshit, that's because they're the same company. You got IndieWire,
and the
Deadline.
Same people. They make headlines out of the same people all the time. And if you ever have the feeling of like, why am I seeing this one person everywhere? Like, how come this one new movie star is on the cover of everything? It's because their PR people worked out a deal with this, media conglomerate, and then they put them on like 6 different magazines at the same time.
They'll do even worse. What they do if they want to create a fake headline, or they want to create a fake quote. They'll quote something in IndieWire. Then they'll link to Deadline and say, well, it was sourced here. And then they'll link to this, to Rolling Stone.
Yeah,
who actually reached the Hollywood Reporter.
Their own shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go back to the source is another one of their own things. That's what they do at that. I caught them doing that at Gannett News Corp. So
Mm-hmm.
Gannett owns a bunch of like Indianapolis Star and local papers like that, and they will just link back to themselves to prove whatever shit they're writing is real, and it's not. It's just repeating the same story over and over again. This is a trick that the mainstream press uses all the time.
While we're on this horrible subject, let's talk about
This other
what's our
horrible
rest?
subject.
Yeah, well, let's just continue the horrible subject.
Oh, and
so
this
you
guy
see all
is
these.
so creepy.
So you see all these companies here. Let's look at a few, like Disney, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, PBS, Cartoon Network. All of these different companies, they employed. Let me see. I'm going to pull up this person. Give me 1 second.
All unarguably children's programming.
Yes, this is a
Okay.
children's network, like for sure. You know, this 100%.
Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network.
So this dude who worked on SpongeBob.
I knew there was a reason I didn't want my kids watching SpongeBob.
Doc
knew it.
McStuffins.
I never let them watch SpongeBob because something about it creeped me out.
I'll watch freaking SpongeBob. You know,
I never liked it.
But let's see. Okay, so Animaniacs. I actually worked on Animaniacs. I'm looking through worked with Nickelodeon on, a bunch of random stuff. Like a bunch. Actually, some of the names tied to, too. You know, and again, okay, let's see. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series.
Ugh.
That was there. On Disney, worked with, again, Disney has Doc McStuffins. There's I don't know the show Fish Hooks. I don't know that. But then there's PBS, worked on Danger Rangers. Comedy Central, worked on some Flash animations there. Cartoon Hangover. Actually, for the Cartoon Network, made a show called The Mighty Magiswords. So this part, again, connected to everything. Let me pull up their recent headlines. Oh, gross. This dude, man. Like,
Oh God, looking at his face. Oh God, Tug. Chat, prepare yourselves.
Yeah,
Prepare.
actually, like,
You're gonna throw up in your mouth, so you might want to put a little bucket next to you, or maybe an airsick bag if you have one.
this
Please
is the
get
best picture I can
something.
find.
The picture of this guy is enough to.
That's the best picture, actually. That's the most presentable picture. That's the most presentable.
The
out of
profile
everything.
photos are so bad.
Yeah. So this dude had his home raided, and there were 600 images that were found, which constituted 1 count of possession of CP as part of an investigation into crimes against children. Now, what I'd be curious about, and I think some people should dig into this, because this person here, when you look through everything that they've been involved in, I'm sure that they go to conventions. Like they're not working just at like Comedy Central or Disney.
Right.
They have access to kids at conventions.
That's why they do it. That's why they go into these fields.
Yep.
It's why you find so many coaches, teachers, etc., who are into kids. They go towards these fields where they get access to them. Ugh.
So the arrest happened in Burbank, California. It's originally booked for 2 counts related to the arrest, but the DA filed it down to 1. Well, I don't know. I haven't read the arrest thing. I mean, I have to have my mind has to be very strong in the moment, because what happens...
I wonder what led to the warrant to get this. Was this something like a online sting? Did they talk about it?
Yeah, it's part of the child. So what probably happened, usually weirdos like this, they have, the downloading and uploading. So like when people download movies, things like that, they share packets of these pictures. That's usually how they ended up stinging these folks. They think that they can hide behind like a VPN. They set them up wrong. The people what's really horrifying is the people who really know what they're doing. They get away with it.
Mother Pugger in the chat said he looks like Dan Schneider, but more
Oh
basement-y.
my God, that's sad.
Find
More
the other
basement.
picture.
Oh my
Find
God.
the profile one.
I'm just gonna
Because
get
the
some.
one I saw. The when
He has
first
his
one, I was
mouth
just like,
open.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
so
one that's
bad.
everywhere.
He looks exactly the way that you would imagine someone into this would
There
look.
it is. I got it. This is the.
Hey,
picture
Legal
here.
Vices. Legal Vices is in the chat. Hey,
What's
Jeff.
up, Legal Vices, man? Let's see. Okay, so there's the picture. That's the picture there.
Also, does he always wear that vest? Because he was wearing that vest in the other picture too. Like, imagine how bad that smells. And what's with the '70s colors? Like, just wear
Just
'70s
everything in
colors all
that.
the time.
But I mean,
What do you call that kind of facial hair, by the way? Are those just really overgrown sideburns, or is that the Wolverine? What am I looking at here?
well, are they really mutton chops if they have mutton stuck in them? I mean,
It's
I'm not
mutton
really sure.
chops. That's what they're called. Yes, thank you, mutton chops.
I'm wondering if he
Oh,
worked
man.
on like Power Rangers or something, because there are a bunch of Power Rangers that look like they were drawn by a kid over beside them, and I hope to God those aren't kids that have drawn those.
Oh god. Ugh, yuck. Just gross.
I mean the images of oh God, the images like this. Oh, let me see. I gotta find some other freaking pictures of this dude. Oh my God. Oh no, there's a really. Oh no, that one's been scrubbed from the internet. Here,
Well,
let me
the
look.
internet's doing itself and everyone else a favor.
Yeah, thank you, internet.
You don't need eye bleach today. The
Oh,
internet
here's
has
some-
taken care of it itself.
Oh, here's a few more really lovely
All
ones.
right,
Check
Chad.
this-
Reach into the seat back in front of you and pull out your air sick bags. Oh, God. Is that a penis sword? What is going on?
That's what it looks like.
What
Oh,
the
no.
hell?
That's not laughter. That's me crying inside. knowing what this fucker's been arrested for. He's got a penis sword. Oh my
What
Jesus.
the hell?
Mm.
Wait, why is he always wearing that vest?
Ugh. I don't know. Maybe he's afraid of drowning.
Or is
I
that
don't
a
know.
different vest? He just has like a bunch of vests.
He
like
has a
that.
variety of that vest.
He's afraid
Oh.
of drowning. That reminds me of Back to the Future. They're like, "Hey, sailor." He's like, "Why is everyone calling me sailor?" Because he's wearing what looks like a life vest, the puffy vest.
He's like, damn,
Oh.
Megan, I sweat a lot. I might drown.
Ew! Imagine how bad he smells in that outdoor vest that he's wearing inside. Ugh.
Gross, man.
Ah! Oh God! No, I can't. I had to look away. Look away.
Look at that.
Look
Oh, there's stuff in there. I can see
Look
stuff in
away.
that. I can see stuff in there that may not be mutton, but there's something in there.
That chat wants to know why he looks like that. Because he's a chomo. That's why. Oh no.
Gross.
The chat says the vest is slimming. C-Max-C says he's a butt puddle.
He's shit.
Ew. I want
gross.
DNA. I want a DNA test on that beard.
Oh, there is something wrong there. I mean, there's something in it. Oh, gee.
Oh God, no.
You know, it actually looks like those lamps are sprouting out of it. Oh, God. I want to look at some more now.
Oh, now we have to find more.
Oh, my God. There's a bunch of them.
Why do they always look like this?
oh my God,
Why?
that-
Why do they always look like this?
Dude, I'm not going to pull that picture up, but dude just got. Let me see when this came up, too.
Hey, do we have a mugshot on him yet?
So in 2014, he got married.
Oh no,
You know,
married to
yeah.
who?
Some lady.
What poor person got sucked into this?
I mean, I don't know if that's
black
still
hole.
the case, but I mean, good God. There's some freaky okay, so these are safe pictures, and yet, the stuff that I see online, these weird predator types, like you see the zoos, the zoophiles, like, doesn't some of that, like, kind of look like something that fell straight out of Tumblr?
I don't know. I'm too old for Tumblr. I don't even know it all. I've heard of it, but I don't even know what all that's about.
I know it because of Mr. Medicare. Like, I can't remember what his series was called. It's like It Came from Tumblr or something. Oh my God. He would go over the like weird fetishes and stuff that came out there, and they were disturbing.
That? Who made that? Look at the cartoon of him.
Of him there. Oh my
Look
God.
at the no, not that one. The one to the left.
This one.
Yes.
Look at them both. Oh my God.
Oh my
Here,
God.
let me click. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't pull up something.
Did he make that? Did he draw that of himself, or did somebody else? Because that's funny.
I have no idea. I'm going to pull it back up there. But I was making sure if I clicked on it, it didn't pull up some weird shit. You never know. Look at that.
Oh, look at.
He's so got the vest.
He's known for the vest. He's known for the weird vest. Oh, yeah, and look at the picture in the upper left-hand corner. He's got another vest. This one has rainbows on it. So, yeah, he has like a collection of these weird, puffy outdoor vests that he wears all the time. It's like his calling card.
I find the art more disturbing because, like I said, it really relates to like if my kids saw that, they would think another kid drew it or something.
Chat, he does look like a cartoon villain. That's true.
He does. He does. Oh my God.
No. Oh no. I'm very upset by all. Oh gosh. No, thank you.
So hey, I'm gonna pull up this picture and I'm gonna read the article because it's easier to do it that way. I think that way, it's not as disturbing. It's still disturbing, but at least you don't see the words while I'm saying them. Is what I mean.
Okay.
There it is. All right. Okay, so this explains like the arrest. This actually happened a month ago, but didn't hit anywhere. Why? Because although the arrest happened a month ago, it wasn't until the booking reports by the Burbank police recently hit social media that the arrest was publicized. Though the booking report is said to no longer be available to the public. So it disappeared. Like, isn't that crazy? Like the booking report. Why exactly do we have a child predator who their booking report disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
Again, these stories get picked up and they go everywhere because this ties to every freaking major network out there. Every kid network is tied to this person. An image of the report captured. Oh, and there's an image of the report.
Am I spelling his last name wrong? It's C-A-R-R. Oh, 2 R's. I'm trying to search on Twitter.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of stuff. I'm actually looking to see if the booking report. It says this article has the booking report. Yeah, there's a picture of it. Son of a bitch. I went in and minimized it, and then it. Occupation, freelancer. Yeah.
Oh, God, here's another bad picture. Oh, man. All right, I finally spelled it right. Man, he's lucky he's got a name that's hard to spell. Because if you don't spell it exactly right, it doesn't come up on Twitter at all.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Well, and people wouldn't know to look at. Like I said, when I said this, I was like a shocking Hollywood freaking arrest. It's because, again, this person is tied to so many kid networks. And we're talking about another big name again with MrBeast. We've just had that exposed, everything that's going on here, and this stuff happens a lot, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every now and then, I haven't done a live stream like that. I used to do live, but I get so mad in them sometimes, because if you read the police reports are really horrific. If you ever, Yeah, they're soul crushing because they have to go through and they have to watch videos that they find or look at pictures, and they will
I
describe
can't
them.
even imagine having that job.
It's just reading. Oh my god! Like
You know what would be a
during
great invention, and I bet they can do it soon, is feeding those types of videos into AI, so that AI can write the description of what's going on in the video, so that human beings don't have to watch it.
it'd be good
Because that stuff is damaging. Like, they don't
yeah,
even
YouTube.
allow police officers, by the way, to stay in that type of investigation for very long because they worry about their mental health. So you don't want, if you're in child endangerment cases, you don't stay there for very long. They make you transfer to other places.
YouTube has been sued by some of their health and safety people because, they have to go through and they have to identify this stuff. They have to identify graphic images and all of the, graphic videos. So some of the stuff, they hit, obviously, they miscategorize. But for everything they miscategorize, like something, like when we upload and they miscategorize, they have some really horrific stuff. And I read one lawsuit aimed at YouTube, a person that was talking about, the thousands and thousands of things they would see per week. And they're supposed to be given mental health time. If this stuff you start to crack up because of it, they're supposed to have counseling, and of course that cuts into your work time, and they didn't want to provide that.
By the way, I don't know if you said this, but I kind of missed it because I think you were talking about it being one. It went from 2 counts to 1 count. But just so you guys know, that was over 600 images.
Yeah.
Over 600 images, including some really bad stuff, violent things.
Yes, it says sadism or masochism. Yeah. I took the certain words away from that, but
yeah. This is bad. I also read something interesting about him too, that he was well known for being against that lolly stuff that Chris Tyson's into. That's kind of interesting too.
Just hiding.
Yeah, hiding.
Because
being
the
vocally
images,
against the images, the drawn images, but having actual.
So they classify the images too, and these images are classified as children under 12.
Oh God.
So yeah.
Jesus.
And the images that have the other, like I just noted, those are for persons under 18. But the 600, so it's gross.
Gross.
So the penalty, this is what a bunch of shit.
He could get a lot of time. He could get a lot of time for this. You'll always get more time for CP than actual abuse, because, well, not that it's not abuse. I don't mean that. I mean a child victim, because they have the proof. And if it's just abuse of a child, you have to put the child on the stand.
Yeah, it's words versus. It's horrible that they look
it's
at
horrible
it in the law
that they
like
do
that.
this. Yeah, it's horrible. But a defendant has the right to face his accuser, so all of that. And defense attorneys are notorious for making it really difficult for children to testify. Yeah. So someone who has a victim who could testify in court is far more likely to get way less time than someone with CP. He's going to get hard time with this many images. Hard time.
That's crazy. So he actually he went after, you were talking about the lolly stuff. He went after and canceled an animator over that. And yet you see what this person has on their fucking hard drives. Jeez, man.
Wow. It's bad.
I'm reading through the article. I'm seeing if there's anything. So everything that was attached to him. So it's actually...
Wait, Doug, wait.
What?
My locals chat got a screen capture of our chat summary right now, the AI chat summary.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. pull it up.
Viewers are discussing the image of a man and debating what facial hairstyle he has, as well as wondering what his intentions are around children.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
I am dying. Oh my God, that's so funny.
You know, I was going to cover the Gina Carano thing, but I don't know if I want to mix these into it. I think this is its own subject. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I mean, one is not the other. You know, the
No.
Carano thing is actually, it's case moving forward. You know, it ties in the Elon stuff. And it's not this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna read some super chats. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cleanse my mind for a second. Yeah, gross, man.
Agreed. This was heavy.
These are important. These are important subjects. We have, like people are afraid to do it. You know, a lot of creators they'll talk about it on Twitter because Twitter allows you to monetize, and but people are afraid to talk about this stuff, or it's not in their benefit because and I'm like, these are just as important as anything else. In fact, much more important in a lot of ways because you know, we're talking about there will be defenders that will come out for some of these weirdos, and the time served too. I believe the Jeepers Creepers. He recorded what he did. I think he got a year and a half. Well, he served a year and a half. I think it was.
That's it?
Yeah, and that happens a lot with Hollywood. Under 3 years is very typical.
Wow.
But that's for sentencing.
Yeah, federal guideline. By the way, the federal. I looked this up once, and I was so horrified by it. The child SA people serve an average of 3 to 7 years. And
hey,
CP
hold this for a minute.
people,
I hear somebody opening my door. I'm not letting them come down here.
Sure. The CP people serve a lot longer than that. It's like 15 to 20 average. And that's just so tough to me. I think it's so unfair. And I wish there was a way to even that out. I wish there was a way to give more time to people who are preying on kids who, you know, are brave enough to come forward. And it's just a terrible, terrible process. And it just seems so unfair. Man, it bothers me that these children's programmers are doing this stuff. Disney is notorious for this, by the way, notorious for not caring that their artists or animators or people who work on their shows have been implicated in this stuff or even served jail time for this stuff.
That dude that I was talking about with X-Men, the I can't remember if he's a stunt coordinator or what he was. He wasn't allowed... he'd gone to jail and wasn't allowed to have contact. So he was brought in by Nickelodeon and I can't remember another place. And he was allowed to skirt the law because of the way the contact is written up. He didn't technically have contact. And I was like, gross, because he did. He 100% did. I mean, they went out of their way.
We both keep going. Ugh.
Yeah, that's gross.
It's gross.
All right, Angel. Thank you, Angel. I'm going to 10 gifted memberships there. Thank you. And there was another 10 on top of that. Again, thank you very much. And a 5 on top of that. Like I said, thank you, Angel. I appreciate that for sure. Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership. General T, thanks for the 20 months. Hey there, Tug. Hope you're doing great. Have you heard the 2 songs I wrote and sent you about Depp and Core Camp? Not yet. I haven't had a chance to sit down. It may be another day before I can, I don't know, sit down and I stop a little bit on the weekend. So it might give me a moment to look. But I haven't yet, but I've got them marked. Jason, thanks for 2. I love your videos. Been here since the Depp trial. Thank you. I appreciate you. Stick Print Pay, thanks for the 20 there. There's a bus company that contracts to schools in our area, Beaver Coaches. For a few years on the sideline, Of the double-decker buses, they had a slogan, Ride the Beaver. I don't think the head of the schools understood. So, oh no, that's terrible.
Oh no.
That's so bad. Fake Laura Owens. What's up, Fake Laura Owens? Thanks. I was going to actually put in some Echard stuff, dude. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to mingle these into other topics.
Yeah.
Just,
I switched my icon to my demonic pizza with toppings from hell because tonight's topics are definitely from hell.
I kept this one up because I feel like I did survive assassination attempt after I read. Fake Laura Owens. Thanks for the 5 there. I've had 2 different ponies I named MrBeast. Thanks to show you why. Oh no. Oh no.
I love Fake Laura Owens. Fake
I
Laura
do.
Owens always makes my day.
That's one of my favorite accounts out there.
I
200
know.
Watt Studio. What's up, 200 Watt? How you doing? Thanks for the 2. They got paid in quote unquote exposure.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
exposure doesn't put groceries on the table.
Exposure to what exactly?
Exposure to what?
Yeah. I'm
Indecent
like, man.
exposure.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Oh, Lord. Subi Sue, thanks for the 24 months there. Thanks, Tug, for all you've done and still share. Much love. Thank you. I appreciate that. Came out Red Queen. Thanks, 5. Tough topic fun. Vending in hugs and smiles. Indeed. You know, depending on my mood tomorrow, I may take a day off. Usually after these, I take a day off and, you know, I go in, you know what's really bad though? I say I'll take a day off in the real world. I get notifications of weirdos, these type of weirdos that move into your community or within, I think it's 10 miles. You know, I get those community warnings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's horrible because they're always going off. I'm always getting them.
Ugh.
Yeah, they happen all the freaking time. If you ever want to be horrified by where you live, look up the registers and see set it to 20 miles around you and just watch all the blips.
I Haven't done that.
Oh, it's horrible. Like, once you see it, though, you're like, oh, my God. You'll never feel safe again. Fake Laura Owens, thanks for that. Afraid of blowback. Blowback. I used to have that problem. My sister helped me get over it. Oh, I could just see where that was going. I started laughing first. Dude, thanks for the 5 there. Topic fun, love your channel, Tug. Thank you. I appreciate you. You know, I appreciate all of you. Like, again, you know what I appreciate is that I can cover whatever the hell I'm feeling like covering that day, and people support that. And so, like I said, a lot of this is, I feel it's important. So, Fake Laura Owens, thanks for 5. I call Gingrich Daddy, but that's only during the okay, obviously. Oh, Lord.
Oh, God. I don't know how she keeps coming up with all these jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got new ones every day. I don't think I've heard the same joke twice.
Never.
It's really a talent.
You know, if you could speak like Laura Owens, oh my God, that'd be a comedy routine and a half. You know? Angel Australia, Ashley, thank you again. 50 there, appreciate that too. Stream fun, tough topics need to be talked about. Unfortunately, respect to Tug and Megan. Thank you. Yes, they very much so. John, what's up, John, by the way? Thanks for the 20 months there. The website's now defunct, but I used to be a chat room admin and studentcenter.com. I was about 30 then, 2000-ish. The average chatter was 16 to 20. I was terrified of being labeled. Was very careful. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're in like a student center, of course, like you have to, you know, and that's the function of the job there too. And yeah, have to be very careful. That's what people, they, you know, you expect that when you see somebody. There should be a level. Again, I'm not. There are people out there that, again, they've had edgelord stuff. That's what the Chris Tyson apology was for. Edgelord behavior. And it's like, that's not what people are talking about. You know? I mean, really.
Yeah, nobody's talking about edgy jokes or using the N-word. That's not what this is about. It's about talking about sexual things to kids. No adult should ever do that. If you're an adult that thinks it's okay to do that, you gotta go get help. That's not okay.
Yeah, go get help. Go check yourself into a fucking prison.
Check yourself into prison.
Yeah.
That should be an option, by the way. There should be a way to just go turn yourself in and be like, you need to lock me up. I'm a danger.
Yeah. Yeah, I get shit for like my comments about people are like, you're a mental health professional. Yeah, I work with kid victims. You think I have a... you think I'm like, oh, those poor monsters over there. No, fuck all that. You know, I've seen monsters manipulate people and just horrible shit. You know, because people are out there and they think that this nuclear bomb that's waiting to go off, it might not go off. You know, I mean, people do need to be monitored for sure. They have to be. Yeah, but that's different than thinking, oh, we want to put them in our communities. No. John, thanks for the vibe. My local 7-Eleven actually has MrBeast candy bars. How can people not know who he is? You know, a lot of people, actually, I saw an interview where a lot of people know the name, depending on age, not because of MrBeast, but because he was on Joe Rogan. You know, I mean, he's big enough that, of course, he went on Joe Rogan and these other things. I'm not saying anything negative in that comment either, make that very clear. But an older demographic, after that, they were like, oh, I went into the store. MrBeast did an interview and said, when I went into a store, you know, people recognize me because of that, not because of YouTube. You know, because depending on the age demographic, some people, they may see that, but they may just think it's a branded bar or something. Rebel Bird, thank you for that 100. Thank you there for the hitting the algorithm. You're likely in the occur and covering the topic. Thank you both. Indeed. I'm not even going to try with this one. I think, you know, it's I can't even remember. Did I try to turn on the monetization? I don't think I did. I don't.
There's no
I don't
point.
think I did, and yeah, I'm just not even going to try it. Did what? Thanks for the 5 there. Does he ever go underground to check the miners' work? Talking about that vest.
The vest is so bad. He probably has to search so hard and long for those too. Like he's got to go to vintage stores and like dig through musty old clothes to find them.
Just, oh my God. I mean, everything about that dude screams child predator. It does.
Yeah.
Everything. And, whoa, wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know? It was, huh? McCray, thanks for the 10. The lesson is people are coming after your kids. Indeed. Protect them from thinking any of this is okay. Beast is done.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't even... I think, you know, news cycles, they dip and move. And unfortunately, the mainstream controls the news cycle. You know, these companies, like we said, we were talking about Penske Media, that one company controlling all those different places. They control how the news cycle goes. So it depends. It depends on if MrBeast has something out there that they want to cancel MrBeast for, then they'll definitely keep the news cycle going.
I think a police investigation might be the only thing, or an FBI investigation might do it. But I don't know. I think he's got too big of a footprint.
I think that I mean, there have been creators that they've been jailed because of their activities toward kids. So, you know, you may be talking about an investigation that gets triggered into this because there's so much noise about it that I think that I think you may be looking down that.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Doing her what? Thanks, Vibe. My ex had a thing for minors, mostly because she had coal heat. What? Whatever. Angel, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships again. Thank you, Angel. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate you for sure. What's up, John? Thanks for the 20 gifted membership. I'm going to do a membership count too. That's one thing. I love memberships. I think they're probably the best feature on this platform. So, so they're cool. Thank you, John, for sure. Appreciate that. Fake Laura Owens, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships as well. Thank you. Appreciate that. John, thanks for the 2. Never let my kids watch SpongeBob either.
There's just something about it that weirded me out.
I did.
Can't tell you what.
I watched SpongeBob. I don't think that's I watched.
Something about those square pants. They just really
You're like the
freaked me
square
out.
pants. Yeah.
Like, I just don't like the square pants give me the ick. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I never liked it.
That Squidward reminded me of someone that I knew in real life. So I was like,
That's funny.
yeah. So I was like, oh, that's, so it really struck me as funny all the time. I was like, that's this person. John, thanks for having me. Gen X. I grew up watching Deputy Dog, Great Space Coaster, at like 5 a.m. before getting ready for school. Yeah, indeed. God, I remember the cartoon days, get your cartoon lineup on.
Mm-hmm. I used to watch the Warner Brothers cartoons,
I remember, G.I. Joe Transformers, and then they would throw in like quote unquote girl cartoons, it's just like Rainbow Bride and whatever.
Yeah.
Strawberry Shortcake, stuff like that. They just throw them in. You'd be like, I can't turn. There's only X amount of channels, so I'm not turning it. I don't care what it is. I'm watching that shit. Legal Vices, thanks you for the squiggles. 10,000 squiggles. I don't even know what that means. 10,000 noodles. Thank you for the noodles. Never forget Jimmy Savile. One of the most prolific PDF files ever to live was presenting young adult and children's shows on British TV for nearly 60 years. Close Friends, To the Royals, OBE. Yeah, mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many. There's some huge names, and the kids of some huge names, they turn out to be like degenerate weirdos too. There were a few in San Francisco. I can't remember. There's like this huge writer, and it's slipping me right now. But his son, who was also, basically riding the coattails of his father, he turned out to be a pedophile too. Mm. Yeah, I mean, that happened a lot, and they investigated him and let him go. That was the messed up thing. Because they're protected. I mean, look at all the shit that comes out of cults out of Hollywood. That NXIVM cult. Freaking some of the mess coming out of Scientology. Jeez.
The one that those kids, River Phoenix's parents were involved in, that was a bad one too.
What was that called? Children
of God, maybe?
I don't remember. Is that right?
They were raised in a commune.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it turned out to be like one of these weird cults that got a documentary made about it. I think it was, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I thought it was Children of God, but
I gotta have a cigar for a minute.
Yeah, it was Children of God.
Okay.
It was.
I remember like that. The NXIVM cult sticks to me because it reminds me. There's that medication for acid reflux, NXIVM, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, yeah, I don't remember them, side effects may include getting branded by cult. No, I don't remember that being part of it. Ugh. Connie B, thanks for the 2. General Resign and Will Weird Al had a baby. I can see it. Living in Amish paradise. Froggy Girl, thanks for 24 months. I hate that teachers and coaches get a bad name from people like that. My family are educators. And there are so many good ones out there. Not all are bad. Very true. Man.
But, people who prey on kids, they gravitate naturally towards those professions. It's not that, they're all like that. Clearly not. But
there's
you got to watch out for the ones who are, because that's the kind of stuff they go towards, because it's the access to kids. Or cops, like people with power over others, That's another one you got to watch out for. Not that, then that certainly doesn't mean all cops are bad. Of course not.
So Salon.com, to just tell you how this stuff gets so messed up though. Salon.com, and they ghosted this article later on, but there are archives of it. In 2015, actually, September 21st, 2015, they wrote I'm going to say they are. I don't like to use I'm with statements like this. So they are, but the title has I'm in it. They are a pedophile, not a monster. And they wrote an article about this guy named Todd Nickerson who tells these horrific stories about babysitting and other things and being, a monster. And they, in the interviews, they had like a video interview. In the background, they used, a video of like shadows, like a little kid dancing. You've seen those that you're like, oh man, those are innocent. They used that as the background while he's talking. And I was like, oh, fucking gross, man. And they did accompanying articles. There was this big movement to try to normalize these movements that come in waves. And people, they treat this like a conspiracy, like it doesn't happen. But they want to normalize pedos. That's why they wanted to call them MAPs. They wanted to do all of this other stuff. And they wrote all these articles. Well, the accompanying articles were saying that they should use a type of exposure therapy. If you want these people not to offend, you need to put them in positions where they're around kids, like teachers. So there was this movement to do that. And then I can't remember what knocked that out of the mainstream. But I mean, they wrote tons of articles on stuff like that. Not just Salon. There were all these mainstream networks, and it was creepy. But yeah, Frog, I mean, I've had teachers that have, they've done great things for myself and for so many other people. A good teacher can teach you about not just what's in a book, but they can help you.
I had
look
great
at right from wrong.
teachers. I had great teachers my whole life. Like I never had, I had a bad one here or there that were just either mean but not like a predator, I had some great teachers. I feel very blessed to have had multiple teachers who left impressions on me forever, taught me things I'll remember forever.
Unfortunately, now we're seeing that wave of, the female teachers have been making the news. It's like a crisis.
It's so weird too, because when I was a kid, we never had teachers that were that young, ever. My female teachers were always like almost retiree age. I think I had one young teacher, but she wasn't young like those women that you see who are in their 20s. She was like 35, maybe, late 30s. It's strange, the ones that are, getting nailed for this are usually like these really young teachers. I don't know what the difference is from back then to now, but I just don't remember having young teachers like that ever.
Yeah, I didn't. Like any female teacher I had were like older.
Yeah, like
ladies.
school marm.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a shortage of teachers too. Like people that it's probably in the pay range. Because the pay's so low, so it's becoming like an intro thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
John, thanks for the 2. That's sword. Thunder, 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 ped. Oh no. Poor Thundercats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thundercats. I used to watch that one.
Mm-hmm,
oh, this is so funny.
Thank Laura Owens. Thanks for the 5. That vest says, how to tell everyone you're an incel without telling everyone you're an incel.
It's perfect.
It is.
Absolutely perfect.
Rhea Roth is it too. I'm not going to do those mutton shots with a black light.
You put that on 2020. We should get 2020 to do that.
Yeah, 2020 investigates.
Kyle Carrazza's beard.
Oh my, gross.
We put it under a black light and you won't believe what we found.
We found herpes strain E. You'd be like, what is that? And we never knew it existed. And you're like, oh God, help us. John, thanks for the 5. Angel, a man of my word. If anybody gives memberships, I will match the number. Let it begin. Let it begin
cool.
there. So, Angel, thanks for additional 10 there. Thank you. And John matched that. So thank you for
nice.
that.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Fake Laura, thanks for the 5 there. Well, the vest didn't hide the roundness, and neither did the mutton chops. Try Ozempic like the rest of us.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
What is? And then Angel gifted 5 memberships there, and John matched it as well. Thank you for the 5. Thank you, man. That's awesome, people.
That's awesome. There's like a little competition going on in the.
Yeah, it's a
I
matching.
love it. Look at this.
Amy, thanks for the 19 months. Keep up the good work, Tug. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have to admit, it took me a couple of days to really. We talked about the MrBeast stuff on Megan's channel. We actually started the conversation there. That was difficult. It took me 2 days to get where I was like, yeah, I can really. I'm glad Megan led the conversation that day. I couldn't have led the conversation that day. Oh, Desiree, thanks for the 5. Since we're on a yucky topic, have you checked out the Ed Kemper audiobooks for kids? I've actually pulled that up because
I just
that.
I just did too because I saw that coming up and I was like, oh my God, what is this?
That got mentioned a while back, and I did pull them up. I haven't listened to it. That's so crazy, though, that Ed Kemper did freaking kids' books.
If you don't know who Ed Kemper is, he's a serial killer.
Hey, he was the, what is that? There was a show on Netflix. It's something Minds. I can't remember, but it dealt with Ed Kemper. They went in. He was one of the first serial killers they interviewed. And
how creepy. He did an audiobook of Flowers in the Attic. Oh, do you know that book?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Because there's like incest and weirdness in that. Oh, God. He murdered his grandparents, his mother, and numerous co-eds.
Yeah.
Oh, he was on Mindhunter.
Mindhunter, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should look at, that guy's scary. You should look up pictures of, him compared to, give me a second. Just the size of that dude is freaking horrifying. When they compare him with other people. Let me see. Yeah, here he is. Ugh. They had pictures of him standing with prison guards. So check this out. He was 6'9".
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's really tall.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Dude, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Look at that hand.
Wow.
That hand's as big as this dude's head.
He killed his own grandparents when he was a teen. He was let out on parole on his 21st birthday and then went on to kill 8 more people. A murder spree which ended with the killing and decapitation of his own mother before doing unspeakable things with her body. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he, if you ever want to just hear something really, really, really horrific, listen to his... You listen to his discussions about it because he not only discusses what he did, but it's just so matter of fact, and it's terrifying because this guy's obviously 6'9", 300 pounds. This guy could overpower anybody.
Anybody.
Ugh, creepy.
Awful.
Heather, thanks for the 5. Coming in late, caught up second 2 times speed. Praying this will endure. His monitored visitations. He has had his son wearing heels. Oh, yeah. I remember that picture there. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's right. I remember that one, too. That was a weird thing that he did. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, he has a young kid, and with predators like that, it's frightening to think what kind of danger they could be in. I mean, these are real concerns, legit concerns. I hope that investigative agencies actually take that very seriously.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Fake Laura Owens, thanks for the 10 there. Let's be real. The vests from the musty pile at the thrift store just went into a musty pile of clothes in the corner at his house next to the pile of McDonald's wrappers.
Gross.
That's probably true. And Heather, thanks for the 5 there. Where these people are going, they'll meet the monsters. Nobody can make them go away. That's true. You know, a lot of them meet very horrific ends at prison justice, and I can't on the platform say that I condone that, but yeah, I'll leave that there. The platform. I'll leave it at that.
I really hate prison justice, and you know why? Tell you why. It isn't because I don't understand the anger, but I don't like it because it shows that our system doesn't mete out the justice that these crimes deserve. If it did, there wouldn't be a reason. There wouldn't be that. There wouldn't be that overwhelming desire to mete out more justice than they were given. And I think that's an obvious flaw in the system. Because I don't think prison justice is a good thing at all. I think it's not okay for mob justice to rule. But if that's happening, then our system needs to take a look at it and go, okay, we're making a mistake here. We're doing something wrong.
There are also innocent people.
Relook at it. We should relook at what we're doing here for the type of justice we're handing out for these crimes, because people don't agree with us.
Well, and you look like the West Memphis Three, for example. They were accused of some horrible stuff, and it turned out to be not real. I mean, they were falsely accused of horrific crimes, and those would be the kind of things that meet prison justice. I have to say, though, there are certain monsters out there that you think, like you said, the system itself should have taken care of them. There shouldn't have to be prison justice. I mean, we have very severe penalties for a reason. And what's crazy is we don't even, our system seems like it's not geared to protect kids, really. You have all these people that run on that, saying that they do protect children. But when you look at the, every now and then somebody will get a real sentence. But by and large, especially, Hollywood, because of California, when I was at 18 months, that's usually about the amount of time a lot of people end up serving. They may get 3 years, but they end up serving about 18 months. If they spend a long time, it's maybe 3 years. So, but typical, 18 months. That's gross, yeah. Anyway, do you want to add anything? I think I'm done today. We had 106 memberships, by the way. That's crazy.
That's so cool. Thank you, chat. You guys are awesome. No, I'm all good. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Yeah, take it's just like being in the pool after this topic. Give yourself a few minutes to let your stomach settle.
A few minutes.
Yeah. You're like, oh, all right.
I'm gonna just go wipe my brain and not think about it and go eat. I'm gonna go eat dinner and hang out with kids.
I'm going to end here. No music, nothing. I'm just going to end. Appreciate you folks. And I'm sure the MrBeast topic is not done. I'm sure there will be more of it. Thank y'all.